Shalom, all praise to the Most High, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham Rukakadash, and I'm honored to the Apostle of GMS and to the bishops, elders, and all the sincere brethren that are laboring the truth that God's the world, and to all the sincere brethren and sisters that listen to the truth. And I pray this lesson be another edifying lesson to the flocks, and with the Most High, I want to read this message, let it be heard. And before we begin the lesson, I will introduce the true name of the Father, which is Yahweh, and the names mean He exists, and the true name of the Son is Yahweh Shah HaMashiach, which means the Redeemer or the Deliverer, and is only coming to redeem His people, which is the nation of Israel. And in today's age, we identify them as the so-called Negroes, so-called Latinos, and the so-called Native Americans, which scattered on all four corners of the world. It looks like they're the nations, and also practice the custom of their nations. And with that, that will be it for the introduction of the lesson. And the title of the lesson today is Soon the Stores Will Be Found Empty. So all those stores that you see that's around, like the supermarket, the gas station, the groceries, the Costco's, BJ's, or Walmart, soon they'll all be found empty. Why? Because there'll be lack of resource. It's all gonna start with it's already started with the gas prices being up for the past, I was gonna say the past few weeks, the past almost 2 months now, basically, since that Iran situation. We came around March, I should say, and I think early February to March. That's when the Iran situation is going on. So the price of gas is rising up. Food prices also rising up. So people can't afford anything right now, and it's only getting worse right now. And since gas prices is basically up, the food truck, the food trucks, basically the trucks that come to deliver items, not just food item, all sort of item. Um, because of the gas prices, they can't come and bring them. So because of that, a lot of stores are raising prices, and also they're not being able to restock, because every store that's around that you see only have 3 days worth of supplies. So if they're not getting their regular shipping orders, it's only natural that they're gonna losing. They're not gonna be able to keep their store running, and which is gonna, once the store start closing, once the store start being empty, it's only gonna cause panic, and with panic, there's gonna be chaos. And we're gonna see that in 2nd Ezra 6 verse 22. That's what it says. 2nd Ezra 6 and 22. 2nd Ezra 6 and 22. And it says, and suddenly shall the soon places appear unsown. So what does that mean? All the stores that used to be have all, like basically what I was saying earlier. Sure, all the stores that used to be found packed, like a groceries, like a Costco's, BJ's, or Walmart, or Target. They're gonna find unsown, which means they're gonna be very empty. Like a lot of stores are shutting down. Like I used to, every town I used to go back then, malls are shutting down. If the malls are not shutting down, they basically borderline empty. That's because they got nothing that's going on inside of them. Basically, it's only gonna get worse. The food stores out shall suddenly be found empty, and the trumpet shall give sound, which when every man heareth, they shall be suddenly afraid. And it basically says the trumpet is gonna give sound. Basically, that's a sound of basically a warning. And when people hear it, that means they're gonna be terrifying, because they know what's gonna come after that. At that time shall friends fight one another. At that time shall friends fight one against another like enemies. So during that time, you're gonna have friends that's gonna fight each other like enemies. Why? Because of lack of resource. So basically, your so-called neighbors that you know for 10, 15 years ain't gonna be your neighbors this time, because he's gonna fighting for the same thing you're gonna fight. So therefore, they're gonna be fighting like they are each other's enemies. And the earth shall stand in fear with those that do the aim, and the earth gonna stand with fear. Why? Because there's gonna be panic. There's gonna be chaos everywhere. So it's gonna be a very terrifying day, moment basically. The springs of the fountain shall stand still, and in 3 hours they shall not run. So you're gonna have spring of water that's gonna be stand still. Because sure, because everything's I apologize about that. Because everything is running let's just spring of water is gonna stand still. Because even the water system has been running by it requires energy to run. If they lack it, it's gonna basically shut down also basically, which is gonna basically create more chaos. Cause like people that have their bathroom that rely on water. Cause we've been hearing lately, um, they're building a lot of data centers, which causing people to lose their electricity. Not electricity, like any the water supplies that they got is basically has been contaminated because that data center is basically using all those waters um, that they have basically. So all these you see people already complaining, which is only gonna get worse. Next one I'm gonna read is basically Second Ezra 15 and 19. Let's see what's going to happen after that. Second Ezra 15 and 19. All this leading to one thing: a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor. When you read the book of Second Ezra 15 and 19, and it says like a man would have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword. So during that time, no one's gonna be happy. Well, no one's gonna have pity on each other, basically, man. And when we read the previous chapter, Second Ezra 16, verse 22, or I mean verse 23, it says, "Friends gonna fight like enemies. People that you know for years gonna turn on you." And a lot of people witnessed that during the Hurricane Katrina back in '04. You got Jake's being terrorized by Esau, and they'd be like, um, Joe, I know you. You went to my son's graduation, and Joe gonna be like, I don't know you, nigga. I'm trying to save my family. So all those Jake that keep thinking like Esau is their friend, they're gonna get a rude awakening. A man is not gonna have a pity upon his neighbor, basically, but shall destroy their houses with the sword. They're gonna destroy their houses with the sword. The sword basically means any sort of weapons, basically, and spoil their goods. They're gonna spoil their goods, and when you say goods, it includes everything: food, so resources, medicine, and also women. Because those data entering right now, the world's gonna go back to its natural courses, basically. So men's gonna know their place, and women gonna go know their place because of lack of bread. And they're doing all that because of lack of bread, because they lack food. So basically, food is gonna become scarce. So basically, everything's gonna be weaponized around that time. And women also gonna start studying themselves during those times too. And for great tribulation, which is the Jacob's trouble. So guess what? All those things I'm just reading right now, and all the prophets that prophesy these messages right now has been warned. The prophets, the men of the Lord, have been warning you people for years, but they ignore the people, man. So you can when people are in the situation, they can't say I didn't hear the message right now, because the men of the Lord has been warning you. And you're gonna see that in the Ezekiel 3 and 17. Ezekiel 3 and 17. And let's see, because people cannot say I didn't hear the message. The prophets lay it flat and tell you exactly what's going to happen. In Ezekiel 3 and 17 says, "Son of man, I have appointed you as a watchman for Israel." So who's the son of man? That's the prophets that's standing on the highways and byways and on the web. The heaven for the Yahweh, why Yahweh has putting us on the highways and byways as a watchman. You know how the newscasters waking up every day when you wake up? It doesn't matter what at 5 a.m. the newsman telling you, hey, here's your daily weather, here's what's gonna happen, here's how traffic is gonna be like, hey, here's what happened in the neighborhood, or so and so and so on. So that's what we are. We are the spiritual watchmen. We hear prophesying 24/7. And unlike your regular typical newsman that's false, that give you false news, we don't give you false news. We tell you exactly what's gonna happen. Whenever you receive a message from me, warn people immediately. So whenever we receive the message from the Heavenly Father Yahweh, we have to warn the people immediately. And if you go down, it says, if I warn the wicked, saying you are under the penalty of death, but you fail to deliver the warning, they will die in their sins, and I will hold you responsible for their death. So basically, if I warn the wicked, saying you are under the penalty of death. So basically, say if you want the wicked, say you are under the penalty of death, but you fail to deliver the warning. So basically, if the Most High give you the message and you don't want the people, and the people die, basically, guess what? He's gonna hold you responsible for that. And if you warn, what was that again? And if you warn them and they refuse to repent and keep on sinning. So basically, if we warn the people, right, and they refuse to listen, right, and they keep sinning, they will die in their sins. So guess what? But you will have saved yourself because you obey me. So basically, if the Heavenly Father Yahweh told you to warn the people and they don't listen, they keep sinning, guess what? Well, they're gonna die in this sin, right? And guess what? You're not gonna be held accountable for that. Why? Because you obey the word of the Heavenly Father Yahweh. If righteous person turn away from the righteous behavior and ignore the obstacles I put in their way, they will die. So if a righteous person turn away from the righteous behavior and ignore the obstacles the Heavenly Father put in front of them, they will die. And if you do not warn them, and if you don't warn them as a prophet, guess what? They will die in their sins. None of their righteous acts will be remembered. So all the righteous acts that they used to do will not be remembered, basically. And I will hold you, and the Heavenly Father Yahweh will hold you responsible for their death. But guess what? But if you warn a righteous person not to sin, and they listen to you and do not sin, they will die in you, and you will have saved yourself too. So basically, if you warn a righteous person not to sin, and they listen to you and do not sin, guess what? They will leave, and you will also have saved yourself too. So basically, when the Heavenly Father Yahweh sent us on the highways and byways to warn the people, and we do the work, right? And guess what? We save ourselves. And if you give you the message to warn them and you don't warn the people, and the people will die, guess what? Their death will be on you. You will be responsible for it. If you warn the people and they take heed to it, guess what? You save yourself. If you warn them, they don't take heed to it, guess what? When they die, they die their own sin, basically, man. So that's it for the lesson, man. I pray that's another edifying lesson to the flocks. And whatever the Most High want to this message, let it be heard. So once again, soon the stores will be found empty, and which only gonna lead to chaos. And the day that we're living right now, each and every day we are one step closer to it. And with that, I'd like to say, Shalom.